Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, just made one of the biggest announcements of the year, if not the largest announcement over the last 4 years, and how they are set to dominate the global banking sector. And we'll cover that in this video. Now, not only will we cover this groundbreaking news, but this development will have massive implications for Ripple's business model because nothing runs on the XRP ledger or their blockchain without having to use the native XRP token, the stuff you and I buy, which is the backbone of the entire system. But don't take my word for it. Listen to how the Chief Technology Officer over at Ripple, David Schwartz, states it.
People are going to have different use cases and different demands and needs. And the XRP has a privileged place on the XRP ledger. Through pathfinding, always looks for XRP liquidity first. The auto bridging causes trades to automatically look at XRP liquidity where they don't automatically look at any other liquidity. So XRP is always going to have a privileged place as a bridge asset on the XRP ledger, and stablecoin ecosystem is not going to change that. It's just going to enable more use cases.
And then recently, something even more shocking happened over the last few days where RLUSD's volume skyrocketed over 2,000%, as you can see right to the side of my head, 1,963% in a 24-hour period. Now, this is on a $53.1 million market cap. Now, for those of you guys who are newer to this ecosystem or to the XRP community, RLUSD is the stablecoin that is fully backed one for one, dollar per dollar, fully regulated by Ripple and regulators inside of the United States as a stablecoin inside of their ecosystem. It's designed to directly compete with USDC and USDT, which are the largest competitors in the space, and it's currently outperforming other competitors, again, which we will talk about in this video. However, with this type of a volume gain, some think this was an oracle or a data glitch, while others believe this is a sign of what's to come as Ripple just flipped the switch. So in this video, we'll cover all of this info, as well as some exciting news that virtually all but guarantees that sometime in 2025, we'll be getting an XRP spot ETF, which will open the doors to $100+ trillion more in terms of retirements, pensions, and even 401ks having access to the native XRP token in a regulated manner. So as always, if you're feeling blessed and bullish, comment 777. And if you're going to be the wealthiest person in your family tree, smash the subscribe button. Hello and welcome back to the channel, Bull Runners. If you're new here, my name is Paul and you can find me on Twitter or X at PaulyDeFi. Now really quickly, I'm going to dive into the price action and give you my personal take on what's to come over the upcoming days and week before we dive into some of this groundbreaking news. Now, when we're looking at the price of XRP, this thing has pumped really hard. I mean, we're talking from the local lows down here at around 48 cents back in October and into early November, just before the election. Things pumped for a rally of about 500% on XRP, and XRP was easily one of the largest performing large market cap cryptos. We're talking this thing went from like number 7 by market cap all the way to number 3 and even surpassed USDT in terms of the amount of money in this token. Now that said, because of this face melting rally, it's only fair and likely that this thing needed to cool off quite a bit. Now since that point in time, we've put in an intermediate term downtrend for a descending wedge. However, we've also failed to break below this range right here on a daily time frame. As you can see here, I'm on the D or daily time frame. So right here, I've consistently stated that this would be a good buy zone or a support anywhere between the $2.20 range when we were bouncing back into that 20 EMA, which we'll talk about here shortly, or just into this previous region where we had a lot of wicks and buy pressure. And so it seems to me that not the 10 and 20 EMA was the support, but more so a horizontal support and resistance. And so although there are a lot of fancy indicators that you can use, more often than not, it really just pays to learn the basics. I'm not even kidding. When it comes to price action, maybe 1 or 2 indicators, volume, some horizontal supports and resistances, and then just looking at wedges or trend lines. Now, when you look at this trend line, you can see that we are descending. We're putting in a series of lower highs right? So I'll circle this right here for the educational aspect of it. This is our all-time high, or at least our previous range high of $2.90. Then our next high came in here right around 270. Then the final high came in just a few days ago, right here at about $2.50. So because we have this previous range high and then the previous range high right before that, you can consider this an intermediate term downtrend with a flat or a horizontal support for something like a wedge. Now, this is typically really good for something like XRP to do in order to cool off before it breaks for some new highs. It needs to build up some strength and gain some support before it builds up its momentum. Now, that said, we can also see that we have a lot of support right here at that $2.18 range. So we could arguably assume that this breakdown right here was what you would call a bear trap. When the price actually breaks down below a range, traps players into the move because they think they want to be bearish, so they take short positions, and then the market rallies right against them to the upside. So this is what we've seen. However, we failed to see a breakout, and all we've seen is consistently declining volume. So what I would like to see is, even if we bounce right back here into this $2.30 range right here, I would like to see some level of support in this range, even if we get a breakdown right here on a daily time frame, only to see a wick on the downside. Then a break above this range right here, whether it comes in the next day, 2, or even 4 days, doesn't really matter to me. What matters is that we get a break above this descending wedge or trend line, and when we do, I would like to see volume start to increase again, as we also saw it right back here. So I'll show you what that looks like here on November 5th or 4th before the major breakout. So going back in history, as you can see here, we saw a lot of resistance right here at the 63 to 64 cent range. Now, we were talking about this for quite some time on the channel, and you can go ahead and look at those videos, but we had a pretty strong resistance here with another final breakdown right here down to 49 to 40, I don't know, 48 cents. And then what happened was we started to rally right back up into this range. Now, what was beautiful about the breakout above this range right here is you can see that volume started to increase pretty dramatically. So right here, it was declining consistently. We saw below average volume, and we saw the volume actually trend to the downside, indicated by this blue line. And as it continued to get really tight or squeeze right here, we saw volume really start to pick up. So you can see volume is picking up. And so right here, you would have had an indicator, the tides have started to change. But really, it came when we started hitting that third standard deviation right up here, where there's a 4% chance of volume hitting this range right up here. Then we saw volume explode on that 1, 2, 3, and 4th day that you should have had an indicator. Something is up, and there are a lot of buyers getting behind this move. So even if you didn't have the price chart, we're talking the candlesticks, something like this should have given you an indicator. Considering if I do a replay in a bar chart right here, you can see this is well above average volume. Now let me go ahead and show you exactly what happened. Look at this volume growth right here. Even though it's not as large as what we're seeing now, and it looks like nothing comparatively, at the end of the day, when you see a breakout in volume like this and a break above a range like this, this is extremely strong confirmation that this move is legit and is going to continue to move to the upside. And that's exactly what we saw, as day by day the price continued to trend up, and as you can see here, volume continued growing to the upside in each and every single breakout above a new range high. So then finally we started peaking somewhere at that $2.90 range, and as you can see here, volume exploded even further for almost $1 billion on Kraken. We're not even talking Binance. Now, when it actually peaked off, you can see volume is now declining. And that's actually pretty natural and normal when you start to get some sort of a level of support range right in the area that we're currently in. So this is normal. What you would like to see then is a break above this descending wedge or triangle with some volume to support. So I'll go ahead and take that line right there. I'll put it on auto. And as you can see here, I'll even just play it quicker. We'll go faster right now to present day. And guess what? We are finally back in this range where volume is getting really, really low and again below average. So a break above here with some volume to confirm, or even a break above this $2.64 range right here on a daily time frame is really good. Now, what I also like to see is a confluence of different things. The first thing I like to see is that VRVP, which is a volume profile for the range that we're in. In other words, the majority of the volume has traded right here between the ranges of $2.40 down to $2.36-ish. So in this range right here, I'll just go ahead and put a box. And the reason I'm putting a box is because this is the range to break above. If we break above here, this is going to look really good considering we have a huge cliff from here all the way back down to the $1.46 range. So if we start to break back below, I would say somewhere in that $2.18 range, things are not looking good for XRP. It's highly likely this thing's going to break down to $1.40 some cents. So that said, it's really important that we start to break above here relatively soon, or at least see a support somewhere in that $2.30 range. Anything below here, again, very dangerous territory. So that said, the VRVP is really important in this perspective. And then also I'll toss it on a 3-day time frame. Now, if you're on a free TradingView account, you're not going to be able to do this because it is a paid feature to get this type of a time frame. But then I'm going to go ahead and pull up that stochastic RSI. And as you can see here, the stochastic RSI has officially flipped over. So right here, you can see that we've went all the way up to the top, and I'll go ahead and just toss that up there. I don't know, somewhere into this range right here, somewhere in the middle. I don't know. And as you can see here, right here, right when we started to roll back over, we peaked off. And then the price started to break down and just chill out for a while. And finally, we're back into the lower or oversold territory. And this fast-moving average, the blue line crossed over the orange line, or the slow-moving average at the very bottom. So when they typically flip back over, as you can see right here, this is a very positive indicator that momentum is going to now turn up to the upside. And you actually saw it right back here, and potentially just, over the next couple, 3-4 days here. So for example, look at what happened back here. Volume flipped over, the stochastic RSI flipped over, and we saw a gnarly rally to the upside. And now it flipped back over to the downside. We saw some range of support right here, and now we're seeing another flip on the downside, to the upside in the oversold territory. So this is looking very good for XRP. It's highly likely that we're going to continue to break to new all-time highs. If not within the next 4 or 5 days, definitely within the next couple of weeks. And if we don't, then again, that is dangerous territory. So let's move on with the video. I hope you learned something new, but things are looking really good for XRP right now. On the daily time frame, I'll go ahead and get rid of this. I'll remove those drawings. We'll try to clean up the chart here. I'll get rid of that VRVP. You can see that even on a 10 and 20 EMA, we had what I would consider a bit of a trap with a crossover, only again to see the price break right back above that 10 and 20 EMA, and definitely above the $2.18 to $2.20 range. 10 EMA is crossed over the 20 EMA. So even if we touch right back down here into the $2.30 range, that's just going to be touching down on that 10 EMA. That's very healthy and normal and natural for a retrace and a pullback before really getting some strength into that next move. So things are looking really good on virtually all perspectives for XRP. I do expect it to break out at some point here in the near future, and a break above $2.60 will be really good for it. Now, really quickly, before I dive into the groundbreaking news, if you haven't already, head on over to bullrunners.com if you want to learn how to do technical analysis, just like the stuff that I shared with you, and do it with pros in a live course or class session. That said, I'm going to be doing them this year now, and it's really exciting to have all of our students inside of the back end. In other words, this is stuff that you're literally not going to get access to unless you're involved with Altcoin Pro University. And recently, we did raise the price to $197 a month to make sure that we're actually keeping the level of the content up to par and arguably the best in the entire crypto space. Now, these are all paying members at 1.1 some K members. I think we have almost 1,200 members right now. So these are people that are very serious about their crypto journey and becoming crypto millionaires in 2025, which means this community is hands down, bar none, one of the best in all of crypto, and we stand by that. And so not only are you going to get live courses and classes where you we learn technical analysis and fundamental analysis, but we're going to have pros sharing altcoin picks that 5x, 10x, 50x, sometimes even 100x in the back end. And again, this is stuff that we simply can't get to or share on the channel. And sometimes we never share it on the channel. We're also going to be showing you how to get access to DeFi yield so you can put your crypto to work for you in a DeFi manner. DeFi being decentralized finance. So if that's something that's new to you and that's something that you'd like to learn, then you can get access to this course, as well as airdrop alerts and all sorts of other really cool things like courses and classes. So again, one last time, if you haven't already, head to bullrunners.com. You can watch this 26-minute video on the front end to find out more about this membership and why it's so valuable and how it's really probably going to earn you more than you spend on it. But that said, I can't make any guarantees, right? You do have to put in the work. This isn't just a free ride. No one gets a free ride in life. However, we do promise to provide you the right tools, training, and resources. So one last time, bullrunners.com. You can find the link in the description below. Let's get back into the video. So let's dive into the groundbreaking news, which I think is going to play a ripple effect through the rest of the year and is really going to take the XRP price to new highs for the year. Now, it's obvious that we're going to go to new highs, but I believe that XRP is going to melt faces. Now, we're not going to be like other channels where they're like, XRP is going to $5,000, $10,000, right? Supply and demand or market cap doesn't matter. It's all supply and demand. That's just not true when it comes to markets. And I would argue you should look at every single market in the world. The largest company in the world is set to almost hit $4 trillion. And that's because everyone in the world has an iPhone or knows about iPhones. Right now, XRP simply isn't there. So even if it was going to hit a $4 trillion market cap, which is larger than Bitcoin by 2 times, it would take years or even at least a decade. I'm not saying it's not possible, but what I am saying is it's unlikely at any point in the near future, and definitely not this bull run. So I just want to set the standards and expectations right. Now, that said, this is massive news considering not only are they launching their RLUSD stablecoin and have already done so, and we're going to talk about that here in a second, as well as those ETFs, but Brad Garlinghouse is stupid excited, and it's even more personal for him now considering Gary Gensler's SEC effectively froze their business opportunity for years. However, today things have changed as 75% of Ripple's open roles are now US based, while over the last 4 years, the vast majority of hires were outside of the United States, and they were doing this to protect themselves considering the US was hostile to something like Ripple. Then they signed more US deals in the last 6 weeks of 2024, and I would argue that means they are partnered with banks and institutional players since the election than the previous 6 months, which is massive. It's stating the obvious, and I believe they truly have flipped the switch, considering banks and institutional players are now looking at XRP and their mouths are watering with opportunity, considering they are going to have Scott Bessent, David Sachs, and Paul Atkins leading the helm in a new administration. And more specifically, Paul Atkins is likely going to be the SEC chairman, who is very pro crypto, very pro innovation. So all of this is massive news. Now, just the other day, I believe yesterday, the RLUSD stablecoin over on CoinMarketCap was being reported at $53.1 million market cap, which means that's the total amount of RLUSD stablecoins in circulation currently. And then the volume showed a 1900% gain. And many people believed that this was a flip the switch moment where hundreds of millions of dollars and even billions of dollars are now going to flow into the token. But just because we have a lot of volume does not necessarily mean the market cap is going to increase or grow. It definitely helps and it's a good indicator, but at the end of the day, this could be volume trading back and forth for whatever reason. Maybe they were testing something. Maybe there was an issue with the Oracle or how the data was being read on the back end. And so it's really important to actually double check some of this stuff. And even one of the best XRP influencers who obviously debunks a lot of things, go ahead and check him out, Wrath of Kahneman. I do like his profile. Said if the RLUSD volume reporting is correct, However, he is skeptical. In 2 weeks, it has obtained the fourth largest 24-hour volume for a stable coin, right behind Tether, USDC, and then First Digital USD, which I don't know too much about, but apparently they have a $2 billion market cap with only the 64th highest market cap. Now, that's really interesting and impressive if true. However, it does come with a bit of skepticism, and I think it was a reporting error, considering maybe they're just not gathering the right data, as a lot of this stuff is automated. So you could come over to CoinMarketCap and you can even see that over this 24-hour period, RLUSD has had about $28 million in volume, and it is currently down 95% over the last 24 hours. So for whatever reason, maybe it just read it wrong, or maybe they were doing a lot of test transactions with all of that money. We're not too sure, but at the end of the day, it doesn't seem to be a flip the switch moment, considering the price of XRP has not moved based on that information. And the market cap that's being reported is still $53 million over on CoinMarketCap. And then you can even read this right here. This is apparently self-reported, which means something like Ripple, or the company at Ripple, went ahead and told them this is what our market cap currently is, instead of actually having the data to back it. Now, that said, it's not like they're hiding anything, right? But when you come over to CoinGecko, you can see that the RLUSD stablecoin is sitting at about 72.3 million. So more often than not, I like to look at these data aggregators, something like CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, and if we're seeing 53 on the other one and we're seeing 72 here, how are they getting their data? Why are they different? And then sometimes, it's easier to not try to explain it away or figure it out or be a data sleuth. And instead, what I like to do is I just like to take the average between the two numbers. More often than not, they gather their data in different ways on different blockchains, and there's a million different things that happen on the back end when it comes to oracles that you and I simply don't understand. So that said, it's really important to sometimes double verify. Okay, you'll even notice that right now, if you go to CoinGecko and you go to CoinMarketCap, you'll see that the market cap of XRP is always off by some dollars, sometimes larger, sometimes smaller. And it's just because they're getting data in different ways over different time frames. That said, we can see that the 24-hour trading volume is relatively similar between $28 to $29 million. Now, what I really like about this is, if this is true, we're talking between 35 to 50% of the total market cap is being traded into a 24-hour period, which is pretty impressive, considering the second largest stablecoin right now has a $45.5 billion market cap, which is far larger, and they have about $6.2 billion of 24-hour trade volume, which is actually not nearly as large in terms of its market cap. In other words, it's only 13.6% of the total market cap in terms of 24-hour trade volume. So if Ripple's USD coin continues to keep up this type of trade volume relative to its market cap, I do believe it's going to continue to grow and be in demand. So either way, this is really positive news. And to make it even more positive and exciting, the RLUSD stablecoin has also flipped PayPal's stablecoin and the Euro stable in 24-hour volume over 2 weeks after its launch. You can see here at one point it was $34 million in trade volume. PayPal only had 19.7, and the Euro had $12 million. So again, RLUSD seems to be far more in demand than some major players already. However, it's not even close to touching USDC or USDT just yet, but I do believe it's going to gain in momentum and start to build in market dominance over the upcoming year. And one of the largest reasons I believe this is going to happen is because more and more money flows are going to get tossed into the XRPL, and that's because XRP is going to gain more interest and gain in price, which will bring more banks and institutional players, because it will legitimize Ripple as a major player in the banking and remittances sector, considering the XRP ETF approval odds now surge to 70% on Polymarket over optimism in the Donald Trump administration. So basically what this means, if you hop on over to Polymarket, you can see that right now, people in the betting market believe that there is a 71% chance that the Ripple ETF will be approved in 2025. And I would argue it's virtually all but guaranteed. So this is really exciting stuff, again, because This allows pensions and retirements and 401ks and all of this old school money. And we're talking to the tune of over $100+ trillion to now access XRP in a regulated manner. So this is going to be tremendous stuff. But what I think is really exciting is the fact that Ripple now has licenses to not only operate inside of the United States under a new administration, but even in the UAE and in the Middle East, as they recently posted an article talking about the 4 digital asset trends making waves in the Middle East. And this is a very recent article directly on the Ripple website where they talk about how stablecoins are gaining the upper hand in the Middle East. And so when you listen to David Schwartz talking about how everything has to use the XRP ledger, and all of that is going to have a backbone in XRP as it prioritizes XRP. In other words, bringing in more dollars, whether it's stablecoins or otherwise, on the ledger is going to be very positive and beneficial. And when we're talking about the Middle East, it's huge because they have a license through the DIFC, which is the Dubai International Financial Center. And again, there is an article directly on the Ripple website where you can look this up yourself, but we're not going to dive into that right now because we've done this in another video. But it is the leading global financial center in the Middle East, Africa, and South Asia. Now, this region comprises over 72 countries with a combined population of 3 billion people and a nominal GDP of $8 trillion. So this is, again, tremendous news. Across the board, Ripple and XRP seem to be winning. And again, you don't have to take my word for it. There are tons of reports where we talk about Dubai being one of the most influential financial centers in the world. And I believe that's going to continue to occur as more and more businesses are incentivized to operate there because of low regulations and low taxes. So with all of that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something new. And if you did, go ahead and smash the subscribe button, like this video. It helps the channel out. And one last time, if you want to become a crypto millionaire in 2025, again, that's not something we can guarantee. However, we are going to provide you the right tools, resources, and structure to go ahead and achieve that goal. That said, go to bullrunners.com. You can find the link in the description or the bio below. Watch this 26-minute video. And then from there, you can check it out. We offer all sorts of things like classes, altcoin picks, technical analysis with pros, live calls, the best community of paying members. So people who are very serious. A lot of the times the alpha comes directly from the community. So you never know how it's going to come. But that said, go to bullrunners.com. Thanks so much for watching the video. We'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, my friend.